Hi, my name is Lowe. I am a senior at Simon Kent High School. Before I met Jesus, Jesus was not a big part of my life. He was this guy who told me things to do and how to be a good person. I would just hear about him from my parents, but they weren't really Christians. They were just this is a guy that we have to follow. I started 6th grade orientation, and there was a sign up about wildlife, and I just was interested in what it was, and the person was there speaking to me. His name was John, and he was like, yeah, you should come. And so I started going on Friday mornings, and we had clubs, and I loved clubs. And then John invited me to camp, and I went, and I had one of the best weeks of my life, and I heard the gospel for the first time and was able to understand who Jesus was for the first time ever in my whole life. I went home, and I was ready to follow Jesus and accept him into my life, but then I got home and my dad sat me down and told me that he was not my biological father, and that him and my mom had been hiding that truth from me my whole life. And so that completely changed my perception on a lot of things. It was hard for me to trust people. Having a faith in Jesus was weird for me because I heard Father as Jesus, and then there was this father in my real life that had abandoned me, so it was I didn't want to have to face that again. And so I kept going to clubs just because I liked the environment, and I liked all my friends and my leaders all went and stuff. So I went to camp again, but actually when I signed up, I wasn't super motivated to go like I was the first time. And some guy put in a huge donation to my trip, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I guess I should if this guy really wants me to go that bad. So I went again, and again had another one of the best weeks of my life, and heard the same message, and I loved it the same, and was like, oh yeah, this is awesome, this Jesus thing is what I want to do. And then I went home, and a few weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, my parents sat me and my siblings down and told us that they were getting a divorce and that they would not be living in the same house anymore, and that we would have to go back and forth between them. So that caused anger inside my heart, and it was, for me, it just seemed every time I tried to get close to God, something would go wrong, and then it was for me, it was I shouldn't get close to God because then my life will just not be how I want it to be. So I gave up on all of that, and then going from 7th into 8th grade, I moved to Northern Kentucky, and I was kind of upset with my mom because my whole life was there and all my friends were there, and that kind of drove a wedge between us. I didn't have any connection to Jesus or any ministry my whole 8th grade year. I didn't want to have to go through all that of what if I move again and stuff. So I was very secluded, and I was on my own. And then freshman year, I had heard about Younglife, and I was like, oh, I did wildlife in middle school, maybe I should go check it out. So I went to club. First time I met my leader, who's now my best friend today, had one of the best nights of my life, honestly. It was just so fun, and I kept going, and then was at the end, there were the club talks. I would hear what they were saying, but I wouldn't necessarily pay attention. It would just be background noise because I didn't want to listen, because every time I had gotten close to Jesus, something in my life would go wrong. So I put off weekend camp. I didn't go to weekend camp because I didn't want to hear the awesome message and then something in my life go wrong. So I did go to summer camp. I went to Rockbridge and had the hands down best week of my life. And I think at that point something in my mind just clicked. For me, I was able to understand Jesus. Bad things weren't happening to me because I was getting close to Jesus. I was being tested. In those times, pushing away from Jesus is not what I should do. When I feel I'm struggling or something is going on in my life, I can count on Jesus to be my comfort in those moments, because he wants to be my comfort in those moments, and he loves me. And so instead of pushing him away and saying, no, it's your fault, it's I need to come to you for comfort and support. Before I went to camp, my Younglife leader was the picture of Jesus for me. So it was he was this cool dude that was funny, and I just wanted to be his friend because he wanted to be my friend for some reason, even though he was this college kid that hung out with high schoolers. Until I had realized their mission, he was just showing me Jesus, and I didn't even know it.